Oh, every time I hear this song, it reminds me of my mother. My mother was a torch singer, and boy, she used to belt that one out at the kitchen sink. I love it. Thank you, Angie. Oh, and thank you for allowing me to have a Sunday off last week and doing the music, the message. It was a lot. Thank you so much. So, nature abhors a vacuum. What are you holding on to? That saying comes from Aristotle. Aristotle once said, nature abhors a vacuum. I don't know about you, but I remember in 2016 when there was the wildfires in the Great Smoky Mountains that destroyed 11,000 acres of wilderness. And it has only been, 8+ years later that the forest floor is resurrecting with new and abundant life. Nature keeps showing us that it abhors a vacuum. Nature doesn't tolerate empty space. You know, anybody ever see the documentary series Life After People? Anybody seen that? Life, just take the title, Life After People. Do you know what one of the first things is that comes back after we're gone from this earth? Weeds and vines. Nature abhors a vacuum. Abhor seems to be a strong word, doesn't it? You know, it means to deeply dislike or reject something. So when we say that nature abhors a vacuum, we're saying that nature resists emptiness. It doesn't tolerate empty space. As soon as there's a void, something rushes in to fill it. I was thinking about, the creek that I love to watch, right? Well, I go down there with my grandkids, and when we move a big rock, what happens? The water rushes in to take the place of that rock. Nature knows what it's doing, but if you talk about, what's this mean spiritually? It means when we let go, when we release what no longer serves us, we create a sacred space to move in and to bless us in ways that we may never know how it's going to show up. So if you feel stuck or weighted down or depressed, it might be that, as Mary Morrissey used to say, holding on too tightly to something, right? When spirit is trying to get you to release it, spirit's actually trying to help you release it, but I'm still holding on to this life that I once knew, and I don't want to let it go. I'm afraid of what that might look like back there, right? Or over there. I know what that looks like there. Why am I holding on to it? Because I'm afraid of change. In unity, we refer to our 5 unity principles. Principle number 1 actually says that God is ever present and unlimited good. That's why I love, you can always spell God with 1 O or 2. God, good, it's all the same. But we've got to make room for the good to enter. Let's go to that first slide. I'm not letting go. Anybody know the story about the monkeys in the jar? Okay, years ago, when they used to try to trap monkeys, they would put a piece of fruit in a narrow jar and put them out there in the woods. And the monkeys would smell it, and they'd go right to it, and they would put their hand in to get the piece of fruit. Let me give you a visual. Here's the jar, there's the piece of fruit. So the monkey would go, grab it, and it can't get it out Why? Why can't it come out? Oh, because I'm holding on to it, right? So how can I make room for something good, something maybe even better in my life if I'm still holding on to the old? Can anybody relate to this? Because I've got hundreds of stories in my own life where I do this, have done it, still do. I mean, I had a, what do you call it, annual checkup at the doctor on Friday. And I am saying how I can't lose weight. I'm so disgusted with, I don't feel good about how I look. And he's like, well, you got to think about, your age. That's what I didn't want to hear. They always want to blame it on age, don't they? Right? But he says, sometimes you just have to just let go and be okay with who you are. You don't eat bad. All your numbers are excellent, Kathy. I'm not going to put you on that. Have we got some kind of rattle going on here? Is it my earring? Let me. Oh, I let go. I didn't want to hear that either, Renee. Okay, yeah, I'm famous for walking around with one earring. So anyway, and so this is no joke. I am dead serious. Okay, so right, what do they always do when you go to the doctor? Got to get on the scale first. So I know exactly what it was when I went in that doctor's office. And again, I was expecting it because for the last 7 years, I've not been able to, I vacillate between 3 pounds, no matter what I'm doing. Okay, so he says, your numbers are good, blah, 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 blah. And he said, you need to be okay with who you are. You're a good person, Kathy. You're healthy. Quit trying to fight this. I am not joking. I got on the scale this morning for the heck of it. And I'm 2 pounds less than I was on Friday. Now, how does that happen? Right. Water probably helped. What happened was once I let go, what did I start doing? I started sizzling with zeal, and I started drinking more water. I started caring more about myself. I started looking at my plate and saying, do you really need that much? Right? But it's so good. That chicken fried rice was so good. I want some more. And I didn't. I don't know. Sometimes I can't really explain how this happens, and I didn't do it consciously. But now that I'm standing up here talking to you about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's an example of it. How many times and how many bigger situations do we do this in? Lose a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. Who am I going to be? Who am I going to be? My restaurant burned down years ago. Who am I going to be? How am I going to take care of my kids without the restaurant? Right? But once I let go, the restaurant became new and fresh and even better than it ever was prior to that. There is something newer and greater behind any disappointment in your life. I guarantee it. I've had many, many severe tragedies and disappointments in my life. And I can stand here and tell you that some things happened in months, some things happened in years before something better showed up. And then I was able to say, that's why it happened. I want you to consider these questions. What beliefs are you holding onto that no longer serve you? I started to bring that into meditation. What beliefs are you holding onto that no longer serve you? Could they be wounds from the past? Resentment? Here comes that big one. Unforgiveness? Fear of change? Outdated self-images? That was me at the doctor, right? I want to look like I'm 40. Relationships that limit us, but we keep taking their phone calls, but they're limiting us. And why do we do that? What are you clinging to out of fear, habit, or guilt? Oh boy, that song hit me with that first song where, I'm all about doing it for you and then saving myself for last, and I never get to that. What is it? 4-burner stove, and I always put me on the 5th burner. There's a great video I want to show you. I found this, I can't help it. I like it. I hope you do. It is from a young Catholic priest.
I want to share with you today some basic wisdom. You've probably heard this before, and you're going to hear it again today. It's the basic principle that nature abhors a vacuum. And it was Aristotle, I guess, who first made that observation. He noticed that everything needs to be filled with something. And so the way this applies to the human life and to the spiritual life is that oftentimes, as we try to change our lives, we try to rid our lives of bad things. We say, I'm going to stop doing this, and I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to, empty my life of this. And the danger is if we empty our lives of all kinds of things and don't fill our lives with something to replace it, we're just going to create a vacuum. And again, if we don't have something to replace that space with, the likelihood is that the bad stuff is just going to come back. So again, the basic principle is in the spiritual life, oftentimes you're better off focusing on filling your lives with good things. And when you do that, the bad things, they're going to naturally make their way out. And again, if we're emptying our lives, we have to have something to fill them with. And this can be applied to the use of our time. Like if we say, okay, I'm not going to watch TV anymore. Well, you better have something to do, because otherwise you're going to be like, what are we going to do? It can also be applied to relationships. Like if you have friends who are really bad influence on you, you can't just stop having friends. You can say, rather than, stop hanging out with these people, say, hey, I'm going to start hanging out more with, the people from the youth group, going to more of the socials with the youth group, for example. And also with our minds, rather than focusing on not thinking bad thoughts, when we are tempted to think bad thoughts, the first thing we should do is begin to think about something good. Now, what I want to do is I want to leave you with an image you'll probably never forget. And that's the image Father Scott would use when he would teach the seminarians about this. What Father Scott would do is he would present to them an empty glass, and he would ask the seminarians, he says, okay, can someone take all the air out of this glass? And the seminarians are like, what? And then finally one seminarian would take the glass and he'd go like, man, it's impossible. I can't get the air out of this glass. This is weird, and all that. Because again, there's this vacuum. And then Father Scott would say, okay, now watch this. And he would take some water and he would pour it in the glass. And the seminarians would be like, whoa, wow, dude. And then check it out. Look at that. No more air in the glass. Why? Because the glass was filled with something good. So there you go. Fill your life with good things, with awesome things, and the bad stuff will disappear.
Let's all go home. Oh, I love that video. It just made so much sense, doesn't it? It's so important. And we're going to be covering this next week. And I'll get to that in just a minute. It is so important that because nature abhors a vacuum, when you start letting go of some of this stuff, when you start letting go of friends or relationships that no longer serve you, when you do whatever it is that you're aware of, that you need to let go of, release, You've got to fill it quickly with what you do want, with what is going to bring you better results, right? To have a better life, a more peaceful life, a more loving, fun life, more life with zeal instead of this. It's consciously making an effort to change. So what happened for me was when I released what the doctor was saying, instead of resisting him and thinking you always blame it on age, right? You always blame it on age, and release it, I started automatically filling that void with water. No pun intended, right? I started filling it. There's a great quote from Myrtle Fillmore. Next, please. Thank you. We must be willing to let go of the thoughts that have bound us in order to make room for the thoughts that heal us physically, heal you physically, emotionally, heal you spiritually. This is Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. It's a great quote. Ecclesiastes says it, right? A time to keep and a time to cast away. It's a famous Ecclesiastes, right? There's a great song of that verse in the Bible. That next one, please. It says, now, I got to tell you, I'm starting to really pick out how often we call God He. God is not a he or a she. God just is. So you're going to hear me start to use God will never leave you empty. It will replace everything you lost. Right? Everything you've lost. If it asks you to put something down, it's because it wants you to pick up something greater. If it's leaning you towards letting it go, it's because there is something greater in your future. Right now, it doesn't seem like that. I can relate. Trust me, 100% to that. Because I didn't want to let go. I knew how to do that life. As crazy as it was, as addictive as it was, as painful as it was, I knew how to do it. I didn't want to let it go. But then there was freedom in this other side. Now, I'm going to repeat that again. I think it's important. God will never leave you empty. It will replace everything you've lost. If it asks you to put something down, it's because it wants you to have to pick up something better. Oh, let's show that next one. Anybody got a drawer like that at home? Well, I had one, and now I got two. I don't know how that happens, that somehow now I think I need two hammers in that drawer and cords that haven't fit an iPhone, iPhone 5. I know, I got an iPhone 7. It's bad. So anyway, but what I like about this, because we all can relate to clutter, can't we? Clutter is not just stuff on your floor. It's anything that stands between you and the life you want to live. You want to know what one of my clutters are? See if any of you can relate to this. Cell phone. I noticed that. I've had a lot of epiphanies at the doctor's office for an annual checkup. I noticed in the waiting room. Used to be, we would sit in the doctor's waiting room and we'd say hi to somebody next to us. No, what do we do in a doctor's waiting room? Oh, might as well. And honestly, this was me. I might as well answer a few emails while I'm here and get a couple things out of the way. Okay, Kathy, they're ready for you. Might as well answer a couple more. I need to text somebody too. Well, maybe I should check the news real quick to see if anything's happened. What the heck? What is happening? Why? You go to a restaurant. People are on their phones. Everybody's on their phones. That's clutter. It's keeping me from the life I want to be living. It's keeping me from being social and having connection and being able to show kindness and compassion to somebody that could have used me saying hello to them. I missed a moment. I missed a lot of moments that day because I thought, oh, I'll just get 2 more emails out of the way. That's my clutter. But there are people that have physical clutters. Think of it. I don't want to answer for you. You know what the clutter is that keeps you from living the life you want to live. We are having forest bathing class after church today. There's going to be a workshop, and then you're going to walk these grounds. I find it so amazing how much we're talking about nature. Anybody know about pruning trees or bushes? Okay, let's go to that next one. I might go to the next slide there. There it is. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. Go back one, please. Thank you, Ken. We prune not because the branch is bad, but because it's finished, done, complete. This is a good one. We might be holding on to something that was once good, once fruitful, but now it's time to prune in trust, knowing that new growth is coming. If you don't prune those dead branches, what happens? Starts to suck the energy out of the life of the tree, doesn't it? It's the same with us. If we don't prune this stuff that's not working, we wither on the vine. That's a Bible story that metaphysically is about us withering on the vine. People, we gotta do better. If we want to continue to make changes in our world. And I'm looking at young people in this audience today, and I just am so grateful that you are here because our world needs you. We need each other. If we are going to make positive changes in this world, we need you to be the forerunners in this next generation coming up. We so need every one of us because nothing's going to change unless we do this inner work. Inner work. Prune the dead stuff. Be willing to be brave and trust divine order. Spirit's got your back 100% of the time if you trust it. The problem is when we allow and we let go, we get afraid of what might be. I loved how that priest did that. Oh, what if I don't watch TV? What am I going to do now, right? We've got to fill it. So next week, we're going to focus on Unity's teaching about denials and affirmations, because this is how you work the vacuum principle. And so next week's going to really be leveling it up. So with that, I want to just tell you, namaste. That pruned me, that Christ in me, that divine source in me truly sees and honors that pruned divine source in each and every one of you. Namaste.